What's that looking out my window? Is that me, Max Booth, a host? A host of what? Why, a podcast, of course. A podcast called Ghoulish. And this is a new episode. Oh my god. Today on the program I am talking to two fellas. One is named Bob Pastorella. One is named Michael David Wilson. Together, they got together and they joined flesh and made a book. A novel, a collaborative novel called They're Watching. That is they, apostrophe, L-E, watching. It's a fun book. I did not publish this book, but I did edit it because I also do freelance editing sometimes, and they paid me for my syllabuses. And I went through the book, and it was pretty terrible. I won't lie to you. Full of typos for some reason. They insisted on spelling the name Brian as B-L-I-A-N, but obviously that's wrong. Brian should be spelled B-L-Y-A-N. So when I say the book was terrible, that was the only reason why it was terrible. That really strange, distracting typo, but luckily for you, I did fix it. Now the book's great. So I had them on the what do you call this? A podcast? Yeah, I had them on the podcast to talk about the book, and the book heavily deals with a Peeping Tom. So we'll talking about voyeurism quite a bit, a topic Michael David Wilson knows a lot about. So enjoy the episode and go buy They're Watching by Michael and David Wilson and Bob Pastorella. And hey, you know what? I didn't publish this book, but I did publish separate books they both have written. Go buy also The Girl in the Video by Michael David Wilson and Mojo Rising by Bob Pastorella. They all good books, and so is this new book, which I did not publish. And I'm not grumpy about it at all. Or am I? Let me ask you guys something. What did you expect would happen when you came on this recording? What expectations do you have?
The main reason that I agreed to this is because we're good friends and we always have a good time when we're chatting with each other. And then also because up until, I guess, 12 hours ago, I hadn't told Bob that the subject was voyeurism. I just wanted to see what his reaction was.
And what was your reaction, Bob?
Well, I mean, I'm probably the last person in the world you want to talk to about voyeurism because I don't really travel very much. So I'm not, I mean, I've driven to Chicago. I went to your house.
You did. That was fun.
And
you signed books.
In
then you watched me
San Antonio.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I mean, I guess Michael would be he'd be the one that's into voyeurism.
Yeah, but that's not.
I could talk about voyages, but this is about voyeurism.
Unless
the same thing.
Okay.
Being a peeper.
So going by this logic, Bob. What is this book about then? It's not about a guy who's constantly traveling.
No, they're watching. It's about a guy who finds himself in a very sticky situation, as they call it in South Park. Now that's what I call a sticky situation. He can be a voyeur but he can't really tell anyone. So he's kind of like, he finds a hole, and he likes what he sees, and no one else knows. So, it's not like he can run around the other side of the apartment, knock on the door, and ask for consent. You've got a hole in your wall. Can I look in while you dance? I'm pretty, I'm cool with it. Are you cool with it? So why would?
So we're pitching there watching as the Wicker Man meets Body Double with Splasher Suspiria.
Yeah.
It is the first novel that we have collaborated on together, and our protagonist Brian relocates to a small coastal town
I have
in
I have a
England.
question, Michael.
Go on.
How do you spell Brian?
Brian.
Bold choice. Go on.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because as it would happen, our editor did suggest that we change it to Bryan. I think it was Bryan. Anyway,
I wouldn't worry about the spelling. I worry about how many times he suggested that.
Sounds like you employed a professional.
Well, I mean, we had some disagreements, and the spelling of Brian was probably the main one, but it was good to pay him and to get that editorial input.
Have you paid him, Michael?
I have, yeah.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. I can't even tell if you're being serious.
No, I honestly had no idea. I edited this novel, and I quite enjoyed it. If I did not enjoy it, I would have not have invited you on this podcast. I would have said, no, guys, can't promote it on Ghoulish. Go someplace else. So, that's good.
Yeah.
This is it's a book about peeping. I mean, we can agree on that, yes?
And that's certainly one aspect of the book, yeah.
Yeah, just like one aspect of Fight Club is fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
So I guess to begin with, because the topic of this whole episode is voyeurism, like how did you guys arrive on this idea? Who did it come to first, and how did you pitch it to the other gentleman?
So, I mean, it was a long time ago now, so it's difficult to remember.
Well, this is the book we're
specifics.
promoting.
What was that?
Well, this is the book we're promoting, so try to think.
So, I mean, I initially came up with the concept that I wanted something that incorporated voyeurism and perhaps a kill list vibe in places, a small town, and I threw a few other things in, which would be to perhaps give a spoiler, and I pitched the idea to Bob, and Bob said, yes, I like the way that you're thinking. And I said, oh, thank you very much. That's a huge compliment. And then we kind of threw some ideas back and forth. We planned out the novel to the point where we had a chapter by chapter outline. And then we started writing it.
Now,
and
Bob,
yes. No, I'm not Bob. So
you don't have to respond to everything, Michael. Now, Bob, looking at this from your point of view, what were your thoughts when he pitched this to you? Because I mean, I understand why Michael would have came up with this idea. He usually has most of his fiction involves some type of strange fetish, but you, from my experience reading your fiction, Bob, you tend not to write about those topics. So, was it did you have any anxiety about tackling something like this? Or were you hell yeah, I was born to write about a creep?
Well, no, I didn't freak out because I get to write about a creep. I was excited about taking somebody who was basically your normal person, your normal type of character, and having the readers lose sympathy for that character while unable to take their eyes away from what he's doing. So that was, once we had the initial idea mapped out, then it became really, really fun because in a way, we get to kind of torture this guy, So it was like, oh well, this is, this guy's a creep, But at the same time, you kind of he's I don't know, he's coming from like a weird angle from it. There's like this almost like this worship, and it's I guess that's something that we intended. But it built, and I think the readers are really kind of getting into that.
Yeah, it almost becomes like a strange religion that he joins.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but
No, I think it's a good comment.
It is a good comment, yeah.
So
Yeah.
speaking of you two disagreeing on things, how was the collaboration process?
It was a pretty smooth process, and in fact, I have just submitted an article to Lit Reactor in which
.com?
I was kind. Yes, .com. I had to think for a moment. It's litreactor.com, in which I talk about, the keys to a successful collaboration. And I mean, we certainly did disagree on a number of things, but I mean, you've got to kind of fight for your point of view, not physically, but if that's what it takes, then you do what you have to do. And so, I mean, any sentence, any section was up for grabs, was something that could potentially be edited. So, we would have to go back and forth. And I think because Bob and I have been like running This Is Horror and doing the podcast for a number of years now, it meant that it was very easy. I mean, we don't have to sugarcoat things. We can be very blunt with one another. And so, I mean, having if you feel that you have to kind of tread carefully or you can't speak your mind, then you're probably not working with the right collaborator.
Would you agree with everything he just said, Bob? Anything you would like to add?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's everything he said is pretty much how it it went down. It was very smooth. It was fun. It was, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, with the exception of a short story that I wrote earlier or later last year, They're Watching is like really the only thing I've been working on.
Wow.
And I went like there's a long process with this. We went through 3 different versions of the story. It took us about 3 years. And we, working on other things, but I went like almost a whole year without writing anything. I was very frustrated with my writing. And I would say working on They're Watching and writing that short story really kind of helped me look at some things that I was doing and that I had been doing with my writing that was causing me to stall. And obviously you can't see that stuff as it's happening. It takes you, some growth and some time before you realize that, hey, I was really kind of, maybe I'm going about things the wrong way. And so I feel revitalized, and that's good. But yeah, I had a lot of fun, when we're probably going to do another one, and we have a really good, we got some good ideas for it. So I think it's, but we got some other projects that we need to get ironed out and knocked out, and we're going to, and then we'll probably do another one.
Do you agree with that, Michael?
Yeah, I mean,
cool.
I know you're trying to get us to disagree on things, but it
No,
is true that we will be doing another one. So with They're Watching, I came up with the initial idea and we set it in the UK, and with this other project, it is more Bob's initial idea, and we're setting it in the US of A. So
Is this a Texas
gonna be
book?
a little bit different.
Texas?
I don't know. I haven't really decided yet.
Okay.
We're still working on the storyline. I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably one of those. It could be set anywhere in USA, but
What state is
because
that
it's
in?
more, anywhere. It's in any state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on any coast seaboard.
Gotcha. Now, what type of research went into this book? Because I know sometimes when I'm writing a book and I'm handling like a specific topic, I like to get up and kind of like practice it myself. So, did you guys do any hands-on research with this specific novel?
Do you want to begin, Bob?
Yeah, I didn't do any research at all. Sorry.
It's not a good beginning.
Definitely didn't do any hands-on research.
Oh, you can do it without hands?
Talented.
Very.
What brand
Yeah.
of peanut butter do you prefer? I like Jif.
The one with peanuts.
Oh, you like the chunky
What?
kind? That's fucking
Yes.
extreme, Bob. Michael?
I prefer almond butter. Can we leave it at that?
Yeah. So I mean, I mean, this is the silliest question. I mean, you didn't do any like research into like the mindset of someone who might come upon this type of circumstance.
No, I mean, we wanted to approach it from Brian coming in. It's basically he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And take that and kind of deconstruct it, but in a way that you still feel for him, and you still feel that basically you feel anticipation and anxiety of what he's going through.
Yeah.
So we didn't. He's and he makes it clear as a character that he's not like one of those, and I guess he's so far removed from what he's experiencing that he doesn't realize that he is.
Do you know who else was a good guy?
Oh no. Who?
Adolf Hitler. Until he wasn't. So I would like
He
you
liked
guys.
dogs?
I do like
Did
dogs.
dogs.
Yeah, he did.
You like dogs as well? That's good.
I thought you'd ask me
Good
if
to
I
know.
like dogs. You don't have a dog, do you?
I didn't ask you if you like dogs, but
Does
anyway,
anyone?
I mean,
does anyone on this podcast have a
Brian-
dog? I have a dog.
There's a. Anyway, I mean, Brian is quite a complex character and obviously a deeply flawed human being, and I mean, he kind of becomes the things that he hates as the narrative progresses, and yeah, I'm not sure that I'd go as far as to say that he's a good guy, but he's not a traditional bad guy either. He's a guy who makes a lot of dumb decisions that get progressively worse. I mean, it's very cringeworthy, really.
What do you think the phrase "peeping Tom" comes from?
I did know that, but I'm sure you've got a weird explanation that might not be based in reality.
No, I'm asking. Like, do you know where the name comes from? I mean, it's pretty specific. Tom.
So in Coventry, there was a person called Lady Godiva who rode through the cities on horseback, completely naked.
Well, she rode
And
through
this
one
was-
city naked.
This was in Coventry, which is where I used to live, but this was in the 11th century, so I wasn't part of this, but she was essentially protesting the taxes against the poor by riding through the city naked on horseback, and everyone out of respect, they didn't watch this, but there was one guy called Tom, and he was Peeping Tom that broke the trust of the town and was like, I'll have a little look at this. And So he did, and thus the term Peeping Tom was born.
You know, I also read that the reason she was protesting it was she had asked her husband, who was like a king or something, I don't know, to stop all this unfilled taxation. And he said, "Okay, I'll stop it if you ride around naked." And she was like, "Okay, challenge accepted."
Yeah, so I know that her husband was certainly part of the taxation. So I, I I think he did kind of say that as a joke, and she's like, "Well, taxes are no joke. I'll do it."
What if now flip these sexes around? The
Okay.
man was riding around naked with his Johnson hanging out. With
Woohoo, okay.
and some lady looked. Would she have
Yeah.
been ashamed, or would he have been arrested?
What would she have been ashamed, or
No,
would
would
he
she have been?
arrested?
No, there's no It's just would she have been shamed? Would she have been called a peeping Tammy? Or would that man have just been arrested?
Or I would assume that she would have been called a Peeping Tammy.
Yeah. The reason I ask is I am in the process of being sued for riding down my street naked. I'm trying to figure out if the person who saw me is the one who's in the wrong. So I'll explain. Let me explain.
Okay, yeah.
Let me go. It would help if I gave you all the details. So this was last Sunday, and I had perhaps a bit too much to drink. Okay, and I wanted to go play mini golf. So I was responsible. I did not drive a vehicle. However, I do have a goat in my backyard, and I did ride my goat to the mini golf place. Now, it's really hot in Texas, and I had no AC on my goat. So what choice did I have but not to shed my clothing? So I did that. I put all my clothes in a trash bag, so when I arrived to the mini golf place, I would be able to redress. Seems logical, right? Now, along the way, we happened to pass a preschool. So things got... No, I didn't think there was an issue with this because they were in the building. I was outside. However, the goat must have smelled something because all of a sudden, the goat just fucking took off into the school, and I couldn't just jump off the goat. I had no clothes on. What if I had landed on the hot cement with just my feet? That would have been awkward and uncomfortable. So I had no choice but to hold on to this goat as we went fucking skedaddling through this preschool. And yeah, a lot of kids saw me, but I mean, come on. It wasn't like I was going, kids, look at me. I was just like, no, kids, don't look at me. This is a mistake. I am lost. So now I have to go in front of this judge. And why am I the one at fault? They were the ones peeping on me. What do you guys think?
I mean, so it sounds like there was no protest involved. It was just to go for a good old-fashioned game of mini golf. So
I was protesting the sun.
you were protesting the sun.
Yes.
I mean, Texas is a place where you can go topless, so that's okay. But I mean, I don't think you're meant to have your Johnson out. I don't know why not, but there's apparently something that is frowned upon.
Oh, I should also add that we did go into a classroom, and the goat did kill several kids, but I don't know if that's related. I mean...
That sounds completely unrelated.
Yeah, I mean that's a different case.
I think we need to just concentrate on the indecent exposure issue, and then we can, go around to the goat murdering issue.
I mean, to be honest, I wasn't the one who killed those kids. That was the goat. And the goat didn't even belong to me. I took him from my neighbor. So really, it's my neighbor's fault, whose name is Tom.
Is it
Well,
Thomas
what you should
Joyce?
do... Yeah.
No.
Oh, this is Thomas Joyce?
No, leave him out of this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, well, I think that the two separate cases, you and Lady Godiva. I think with Lady Godiva, she let people know that that was something she was going to do. So presumably, if there were school children that were about that may have been adversely affected, then they could have been brought out of seeing that and
I have a
receiving
question.
what. Yes.
How does she let people know?
I believe there was a WhatsApp group chat for the town.
I don't believe you. Okay, moving
That's
on.
what I've heard.
Let's talk about voyeurism in fiction. What are your favorite Peeping Tom movies, guys?
So
Hmm.
I quite enjoyed a Tenant, which is probably a controversial choice to come out
I haven't
with.
seen The Tenant. What is that about? Peeping Toms?
Yeah, so the Tenant is a Roman Polanski film starring Roman Polanski, which is
Oh, that
quite,
man's never done anything wrong, right? He's pretty much
which
a
is why
saint.
it is a little bit problematic,
I
let's say.
didn't you just
Uh,
submit a new article to Lit Reactal of your 10 favorite heroes, and you just listed him 10 times?
that is incorrect information that,
Oh, okay.
Josh Chaplinsky or whoever has given you, so I'm afraid that is not true. But I think The Tenant is a fantastic psychological horror thriller, but obviously, yeah, I mean, like Polanski has made a number of great films. Obviously, Rosemary's Baby is one that comes to mind, in Chinatown, but obviously the person himself is not a great role model, let's say.
I like those two movies a lot, but I
Yeah.
haven't seen The
Yeah.
Tenant.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'd recommend it as a film. It is a great film, but I guess the one that is probably best to talk about in more depth is Body Double. Now, Body Double, directed by Brian De Palma, I didn't actually see until after we had written the book, but this was a book. No, this was a film, in fact, that Bob kept saying, had so much in common with their watching and that I should watch it. So then it was me watching, and well, I did, and I agreed. But I mean, Bob, you tell us about your experience with Body Double.
I seen Body Double. I think for the first time. I think me and my dad rented it, and there was a time it came out. They had a lot of like these kind of, I guess, thrillers that were kind of, I don't know, they kind of play on the erotic, like what was that one with William Hurt, Body Heat, stuff like that. So these were all coming out. Uh, I knew that Brian De Palma had done it, directed the film. And I was like, and I had seen Scarface before that with Al Pacino, and just like it blew my mind. And I was like, man, so this is his next one. And initially I thought that I kind of figured that maybe he was doing like a bigger type of film, you know. But as I watched it, I said, man, this is actually pretty good. It's really kind of neo noir. Um, but in the voyeurism part is kind of like this. It's like that buddy camaraderie. It's like, hey, look, I've got a telescope. You can see the girl across the way, and you can watch her, and she dances, and it becomes how that type of thing becomes an obsession. And this guy sees something that, I'm not trying to spoil the movie. He basically
I have
sees
not
something.
seen this movie at all, so
Yeah, he sees something he shouldn't see, he shouldn't have seen, and it goes from there. And so,
that sounds
and
good.
I've seen it a couple times. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's pretty trippy.
I love Brian De Palma, but I haven't seen all of his movies, obviously, and that's one I haven't seen. I will check it out.
Mm-hmm.
This has nothing to do with what we're talking about, except it's also a De Palma movie. But a few months back, I finally saw Blowout. Holy fuck, that movie's amazing.
Yes, it's been a long time, but that is a really good film.
You know, there's a lot of movies from like the 80s and 90s that feature a Peeping Tom segment as a joke that I guess seemed funny when it came out, but like looking back now, it's mostly just horrifying to see. Like in Revenge of the Nerds or Animal House, both of those movies have Peeping Tom scenes where you spy on a naked lady, and it's played for laughs. But if you watch it now, it's like, good God, why are we rooting for these animals? What is it?
Like Porky's.
Yeah, that too. All those fucking college movies.
You know, and it's funny because, I mean, Porky's, when it came out, it was really funny, and there's probably some stuff in there I would probably laugh at. I know I would probably laugh at the scene where the female coach wants them to put out an all-points bulletin for, you know, what she sees when she looks through the peephole, and what I guess Pee-wee decides he wants to stick to the peephole. And I think I would laugh at that because the other actors in there are laughing so hard. You know, because, I mean, it's like laughter's contagious. But what premeditated that scene is like, dude, you shouldn't be doing what you're fucking doing. You know, it's like, hey, there's a hole in the girl's shower. Let's go look.
Yeah, exactly. One of the most disturbing scenes I've ever seen in the movie is from Revenge of the Nerds, man. A lot of people don't remember this. Well, maybe they do, and they pretend like it's no big deal. But at the end of that movie, the protagonist dresses up in a costume, pretending to be someone's boyfriend, and then has sex with her. That's amazingly fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
Spoilers on Revenge of the Nerds. Any thoughts on this, Michael? Do you agree?
I have not seen Revenge of the Nerds, but I've heard you reference it many times. So
have you? I didn't know this was something I talk about a lot.
Yeah, is this a recommendation?
No, God no.
Okay. Okay.
I mean. Hell, I mean, Hitchcock has made many movies with Voyeurism. Rear Window, Psycho,
yeah.
Maybe even Vertigo, too. I don't know. I can't remember.
Vertigo kind of has elements of that in it. I mean, there is a guy stalking a woman and like trying to find out what's going on. So, yeah, it's straddling that line. But I mean, a film that we specifically referenced in the text was Sleep Tight, which is directed by the same guy who did the Wreck movies. And I saw that, I think, the year that it premiered at Fright Fest in London. And so this is about a bitter concierge who starts spying on one of the residents of the apartment building, and well, it's a very Hitchcock-esque kind of film, and certainly recommended. But it didn't seem to really get much of a wide release. I don't know have you even heard of it, Max?
No.
Okay, but yeah, Sleep Tight is the title.
Okay.
It
sounds
cool. I think it's worth checking out.
I did not look. I haven't looked this up. I wanted to, but I ran out of time. I have a distinct memory of being a kid with my friend watching Psycho, but not the original Psycho. It must have been some type of remake. But I think it was in black and white, and it had Vince Vaughn in it. And we were watching this movie, and there's a scene where Vince Vaughn is peeping through a hole. And I think that same scene is in the original Psycho. But, this movie was different is someone added masturbation sound effects as he's looking through the hole. And my friend and I lost their fucking minds laughing at this scene. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes, Gus Van Sant did that.
Yeah, and like, I mean, it was almost a shot-by-shot remake, much in the way that Quarantine was a remake of Rex. So you've almost linked it into what we were talking about before. But I don't remember the masturbation sound effects.
Okay, hold on. I'm looking this up. I'll add the audio.
You're going to play. You're going to play it on the episode. But...
I know the film, but I don't think they have masturbation sound effects.
Vince Vaughn
Are
masturbation.
you sure that like it wasn't that every time you watched it, your friend just started tugging off, and you're like, oh, those sound effects are pretty realistic. It's almost as if he's in the room with me.
Oh fuck! I found Psycho, 1998 peeping scene. I'm watching it right now. Hold on. Okay, right now he's just he's standing against the wall. He's listening. There's some intense music playing. Mm-hmm. He's thinking about peeping. He's still thinking about peeping, guys. Hold on. He's moving a painting. Who I think it's Jesus. He put the painting down. There's a peephole. His pants are being unzipped. He's looking at a lady. She's blonde. She's getting naked. She is now naked. We see Vince Vaughn's eye. I'm listening. Yes! The noise! The noise is happening! This guy is jerking off. I'm sending you the link right now. Hold on.
Okay. Do we all have to individually watch it and comment on what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The episode.
Who did I just send that? Okay, I sent it to you. Good.
You better make sure you send it to.
Right, let's see what this is all about then.
All right, let me pull this up.
The video, or
yes?
Okay. Clarify.
You shut your mouth.
This is bringing memories back of being a child watching this movie and jerking off.
Yeah. I'm watching it now. Should I skip forward to the main event to get those sweet sound effects?
It will happen within minute 1.
Dude, you didn't send me the link.
I sent it to both of you.
Yes, he did. He sent it in the group chat.
I'm in the group chat with us right now, and all I have in there is the last time where you misspelled your, and you said, okay,
you've got to be quiet, Bob, because I need to hear the sound effect that's coming. Oh, God. Okay, I can confirm. I think we can...
All right, I found it.
I can pause that video now, but like, it's almost worse, like how subtle it is. So like the music is louder over the top, but if you strain to listen,
it's so awful.
Yeah, it's quite realistic. I wonder if they just got him to do it, or what was he using to create that?
If they had to get some masturbation folly in, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, someone and one of the favorite comments is the iconic moment when Norman becomes.
I'm watching a video. Hold on. Dude, I hear it. Oh wow. Okay, never mind.
I'm gonna play that audio 3 times in this podcast. Every time we listen to it.
Dude. Now I'm like, I feel like I'm violated. I feel like that I'm watching that next to last scene on autofocus with Willem Dafoe and. Oh yeah. Oh my God.
That movie ruled. Autofocus.
And it's a really good film, but god damn.
Oh man. I haven't listened to that guy jack off in yields. Not since I was a kid have I listened to Vince Vaughn masturbate.
Are you getting quite nostalgic?
I feel really happy. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Nice when we can recall fun childhood memories on podcast. That was really fun.
Yeah. I don't know what else I want to ask you guys. I mean, I'm sure there's things we can talk about.
Yeah.
You guys got any questions for me?
I mean, it's difficult to really, after we've gone from Vince Vaughn masturbating, I mean, can you top that?
No, I don't think
No.
so. I mean, I think
Maybe
we just
that's the
call it.
question.
I just think we just call it an episode.
Yeah, okay, we're
Oh, I
calling
have a
it.
question.
Yeah. What's
Oh,
up?
How was Detroit?
It was fine.
that's the answer.
It was great.
It was fun.
It was great. It was I went in October, which is like the most beautiful time to go to the Midwest, and I forgot how awesome trees can look in the autumn in the Midwest. It's not like in Texas where everything seems to be dead. It was nice and beautiful, and I enjoyed everything about it. Yeah.
Wow.
Let's close this
Is that
episode.
your first time to ever be there?
Yeah, let's close this episode, and we can talk more about that stuff since there's a lot about it I can't talk about on a podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably not related to voyeurism. I mean, were there any voyeuristic moments during that trip? So we can tie it into this episode.
Yeah, but I did sign NDA, so.
Okay.
See, that's the whole thing, right, Michael? He never made me sign an NDA.
Because of what? What do you mean?
Well,
Go on, Bob.
Because we wrote about a peeper.
No, Bob. What did you do as part of the research? Come clean now.
You had to use those words, didn't you?
You came clean?
Yeah.
Wow, that was a clean come.
Yeah, I do like it when that happens. It just shoots out the tip beautifully, one straight line.
I have a question.
Nice clean.
If my cum isn't clean, what can I do to clean it?
If you drink a bit more water, it will probably help clean it out.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
I bought a bunch of pipe cleaners, but I'm not sure what to do with them.
Yeah, don't put that down the tip.
Okay.
Okay.
Plug away, guys.
All right, so please bide there watching. As we said, it is The Wicker Man Meets Body Double with a Splash of Suspiria. It is out now. It is available in paperback and ebook. It will be an audiobook at the start of next year. And we'd love it if you could check it out. If you've enjoyed this episode even remotely, then you might enjoy our fiction. If you haven't enjoyed this episode, then why are you still listening? But you still might enjoy our fiction. So check it out. They're Watching by Michael David Wilson and good old Bob Pastorella.
Do you agree with that, Bob?
I do.
Excellent. End of episode. If you enjoyed today's episode of Ghoulish, hey, why don't you go leave a review on iTunes? Talk about it. Say, hey, I like this podcast. It was cool. It did good things to my body. Also, go buy the books we publish at perpetualpublishing.com. I publish books like Michael David Wilson's The Girl in the Video, Jessica Little's Antioch, Paul Michael Angelson's Stand Alone. And I even write books too. My latest novella, We Need to Do Something, my latest novel, Touch the Night. You can get both of those at the same website, perpetualpublishing.com. You can also support the podcast and the whole indie publishing company at patreon.com/PMMpublishing.
Live spooky, die spooky.